Alright guys, so welcome back to the channel. And I gotta be completely honest with you, I was not expecting the Resident Evil 4 DLC to really be this good. Now, I'm not going to do my usual speech because this video is going on multiple channels because I want both people to understand just how I felt about how good this DLC was. Now, let me just be perfectly clear. I'm playing this on a 1660 GTX 1660. I forget the processor. It's like some lower end i5 processor. This computer has 32 gigs of RAM. I had very minimal lag when playing this game, but so far it's just been a wonderful experience. So let me just kind of give you guys a comparison, and I'm not even joking when I say this. The Separate Ways DLC is a better DLC than the entire Resident Evil 3 remake game. Now, if you don't remember what it is that I'm talking about, the Resident Evil 3 remake was not a bad game. Originally, I honestly it was very lackluster. I didn't think it was worth the $50, $60, $59 price tag. That, I'll stand by that. I never thought it was worth that price tag because you could literally beat the game in like 4 hours. You could just, or maybe less than that, you could just run through the game if you really want to. You don't have to get every, I'm not gonna say you're not gonna get every weapon, but the learning curve, it was just a little bit too easy in my opinion. So enter Resident Evil 4. I was a little skeptical about it at first. I said, do I really want to go back to the island and play as Leon again to rescue Ashley? And then more gameplay kept coming out. And all I can say is, needless to say, I didn't do a review on it at that time. It was a phenomenal game. Granted, Resident Evil stories are kind of goofy. And, you know, the stuff that happens in it will never make sense in terms of constantly getting knocked out and captured, and then I don't know, Resident Evil's all over the place. But in terms of action, gameplay, the beautiful gun sounds, I forgot how amazing the gun sounds actually sound in this game. It sounds like you're actually shooting outside. So with that being said, let me just talk a little bit about the DLC now, because I already gave the original game enough praise. I haven't touched Resident Evil 4 probably for, I don't know, 4 or 5 months. And I've recently just started playing it again. I did the assisted level over just to learn the buttons again. I do every level each one. Right now in the gameplay you see right here is on assisted mode. But I normally play on every single level just to be a completionist and try to get everything when I have the time. Trust me, it'll take me years to complete this full game because I have a job, I'm running 2 YouTube pages, I am busy. So I figured I'd just use this time. My wife is asleep, the cat is asleep, we have a newborn cat. And I'm gonna play the game and just basically enjoy myself. And from the moment I turn this on, they do a very good job of walking you through what the controls were. It's almost as if they knew, like, you know what, new players may download this DLC and say, I want to start with this. It feels good. It feels very good. It explains how to shoot again. It lets you know the special abilities that Ada has. It walks you through how to use them. They did a very good job of reintroducing you to the Resident Evil series so that you'll just have an easy time getting back into the game. Now, what I will say is, I'm not going to say that this is more action-packed than the original game, because the original game is much longer than, obviously, this DLC. And let me just first say this also, I didn't finish the DLC. So I know some of you are going to probably click off and say, I can't believe it, you didn't finish it. I don't have anything bad to say about it so far. I even think that Ada as a voice actor, which I didn't like her original voice in the first game, if she felt out of place. But now that I'm listening to it more, her own story, I'm like, it sounds a whole lot better. But let me just say, they dive you into fighting tons of monsters immediately off the game. You still have that awesome level progressive system where you get the bigger attaché cases. You get these little clip-ons that can clip onto your item box that give you special abilities, like not the original one. Like, they still have those where, you know, you can get boxes that give you more red herbs or give you more certain things. I'm referring to, there's these little attachments that allow you to produce more bullets if you use this one, or allows you to run 8% faster than usual. Like, you can customize it however you want. Now, the Red 9, some of our favorite guns, make it right back into this game. I don't think you'll get everything, if we're being honest here, but you get enough, put it that way. And as I kept going through the game, I didn't stop playing until about chapter 5. I just said, let me just put the headphones in and kind of submerge myself into the DLC. And all I can say is, boy, was this a wonderful experience just playing this. And granted, it's not over yet, so I did fight the giant. Oh, speaking of that, I'm glad I mentioned this. It's going to be a little spoiler. It's not too much of a story spoiler, but for you guys that play Resident Evil 4, you'll understand where I'm coming from. In the original Resident Evil 4, you had a path that you could take where you either fight the two chainsaw people, which Leon does in the remake, or you could fight another giant. This one doesn't give you that option. And I wonder, I'm like, well, why did they do that, right? The reason they didn't do that is because Ada fights the other giant, and they tie the story in a lot better so far. So everything from Luis having to find a cure for Leon, everything from apparently Ada getting affected, which is, I believe that's a new feature that wasn't in the last Separate Ways. I don't think it was. I don't remember. But I don't believe it was. And just the story progression. Hell, they have Wesker in here. And he's actually... I like him. I mean, I always like Wesker, don't get me wrong, but I just liked his cold, callous behavior, and hopefully we have that same voice actor for Resident Evil 5 remake if they decide to make it. And you know what? I'll be honest with you. I don't even care if Resident Evil 5 wasn't a co-op game. I'd be perfectly fine with it making it a single player and just having Sheva as a side character with you. That would be perfectly fine for me, or you'll split up on certain parts. Either way, Capcom has really been on a roll. I think that any person that plays this will enjoy it. You see all of your favorite monsters, the little nasty spider dudes, the living armor. It's like you get the opportunity to fight almost all the original. Remember, I'm only on chapter 5. So unless they add some new elements, which they did, by the way, like you actually go to new places, which you've never seen before. Because remember, the Separate Ways original one was basically going backwards and trying to figure out, what's the word I'm looking for here? You're just going backwards on the same map, fighting enemies. You were fighting ships, which didn't make any sense toward the end of the game, and it was just a bunch of nonsense when you really think about it. Because like I said, after Resident Evil 4, well, Resident Evil 4 to me was the beginning of the end of the series. Meaning, even though it was an amazing title, it was so over the top that it just logically made no sense whatsoever. It made absolutely no sense what Leon was doing. It made no sense with Ada. It was like they went over the top with the technology, which I still think they're doing that with the whole eye retina scan stuff like that. I wish they would have scrapped that and kept it more of a Resident Evil game. It feels like they're still starting to shift into that unbelievable story they've been telling since 5 and 6. Village, they kind of had to tone it back to see how the people felt. Not Village, Resident Evil 7 I meant. Then Village was just like, I don't know what's going on with Village, but when I saw Village, I wasn't surprised that they remade Resident Evil 4, because that's basically what Village was. It looked like they were just looking at the assets to figure out how well the people would take it. And without fail, if a company is doing bad, just remake the classics that made you popular in the first place, and people will love you. That's all I can say. But at the end of the day, I don't want to make this video too long. All I can say is I had fun. I'm still having fun. Between this and Lies of P, these are the two games that I'm switching. Well, I'm playing 4 games total. Blasphemous 2. It's Moonscars. I feel like I'm playing something else. Moonscars, Resident Evil 4 with the Ada, and then I'm playing the Lies of P, like I said. So I gave up on Starfield. The game just, it's not for me. But anyway, at the end of the day, you're going to have fun with this. To be completely honest with you, like I said, you know how some DLCs just feel like standalone games? This feels like one of them. Now, granted, it's not as big as, say, Dying Light the Following. It's not going to be as big as Cyberpunk, the secondary Cyberpunk series with the DLC with Idris Elba. It's not going to be that big. It is not meant for that. Also, there is a price tag on this, $10. I was a little disappointed at first. I said, I wish they would have gave it to me for free. But at least I know when Capcom makes DLC like this, they're actually taking the time to make it. They took the time to make it good. They added new elements into it, which made it feel like actual real DLC, unlike the first one, where it was just like, I'm playing it because it's available, but it really wasn't that good. The Ada here seems a lot more flexible. Flexible. What I mean by that is just, she doesn't feel, how do I say this? Normally when you see Ada in a video game, she feels like she's a larger than life figure, like she makes Leon look small, and Leon's actually a really good character. They fleshed her out very well with the voice actor. Like I said before, I don't want to keep repeating myself. All I can say is definitely give it a shot. If you already have Resident Evil 4, you're going to love the Separate Ways DLC. I guarantee it. You might even like it more than a regular campaign, because even though it's a shorter campaign, because I did do some research on it, and of course I'm playing it myself currently, the action is constant. Like, they do have some puzzles in the game, which aren't too difficult. You don't need to pull up a YouTube guide or anything. All you got to do is just follow the shapes, put it in properly in the right sequence, which it'll only take you a few minutes to do. Maybe 15 and 20 if you're not good at puzzles, but it's nothing out of the ordinary where you won't be able to get the puzzle done correctly. Maybe the first or second time. and they're very forgiving. But anyway, like and subscribe, guys. I don't have any more really to say. This is a must-have DLC in my opinion. I don't know if they're going to do any more, but if they do, I trust that it's going to be just as good as this one, if not better. See you guys in the next video. There is another person I meant to mention. I forgot her name. It's not called the Sphere Hunter. I forgot who she is, but there's a lot of people that do a more in-depth review of the game and speak more about it. All I can say is, like I said, if you played Resident Evil 4 Remake, it's more of the same thing, except it's a faster paced game. Ada has more tools than Leon in terms of exploding arrows. They have a grapple system where you can grapple on top of buildings, different things. I play pretty classically, so I don't really do that. But I do the pulling attacks. Like you actually, well, you can see it right here, like one of the attacks when fighting the Gigantus. It's not bad. It's really good. It's action-packed. You're not going to go wrong getting this DLC. So I'll see you guys in the next video. Until then, take care.